Good morning. What's up, guys? This is Mr. Herring and Mr. Morales. This is a throwback video. You know, how we used to make videos, and now we, unfortunately, are just, well, I'm lazy. Okay, so
Me too.
what we're going to do today, we're going to walk through the test. We're going to talk about the questions, and we're going to show you kind of like how, going forward, we would like you to answer questions, okay? So, first question. Answer this question after reading the article, A Taste of Victory for the Texans. Paragraph 3 is important in the article because, okay, so you need to go back and at least skim A Taste of Victory for the Texans, okay? And it said paragraph 3 right here. This is the one that we are going to be, huh? What? Sorry. I'm used to star passages only being one sentence. Okay. Or star paragraphs only being one sentence.
It's all good. It's all good.
Okay, so right here, I'm gonna highlight that. That is our important one. Okay, so we would come through and we would reread. Okay, yep. Okay. So in this one, he sent the two scouts, and talks about them together. The men spotted the Mexicans and returned to Houston with valuable information. Okay. Let's see. Answer this question. Paragraph 3 is important in the article because. So B is the correct answer because it describes the way Houston learned about Mexican army's plans. That is that valuable information. And if you keep reading, he learns where they're at and he traps them, right? So what it doesn't do is tells how African Americans were scouts. Doesn't say that. It says one African American was a scout. Explains why Erastus Smith was deaf. He was,
yes.
but it doesn't explain how he was deaf.
Well, it's not important to what they're talking about.
Oh, no, it does.
Article.
See, don't listen, Mr. Herring. Mr. Herring's dumb.
It's just not
No,
important.
It's not important. Compare Erastus Smith and Hendrik Arnold. Didn't really compare them. No. Okay, so just don't listen, Mr. Herring. He's crazy this morning. Okay, so we're still in the same article. Which sentence from the story supports the idea that Houston's decision to destroy a bridge was a very important one? So the correct answer was the Mexicans would have no way out. And remember, he burned that bridge so that he could trap them, right? So this was just the chance Houston was waiting for. I mean, it was, but that's not that does not support Houston's decision to destroy the bridge. He had already ordered a nearby bridge destroyed.
Why would that be important to this bridge?
Yeah, why is that important to this bridge?
No.
It's not.
No.
Houston led his men to the Mexican camp and surprise attack began.
What does that have to do with the bridge?
That doesn't have anything to do with the bridge. Okay.
Exactly.
So see, go through each question, figure out why they're either correct or wrong. Okay. Let's see. No, the third one, I guess, number 3. Mm-hmm. The reader knows that Smith family left their home quickly because, okay, so this is from Santa Anna is Coming. And if you remember, maybe not, Santa Anna is Coming is kind of a first-hand account of one of the colonists who, she was kind of young at the time, and she mentions that, they heard that the Mexicans were coming, so they all packed up and ran as fast as they could. And so it even mentions that they left their meal sitting on the table. So the reader knows the Smith family left their home quickly because Houston and his men had burned the town of Gonzales.
What does that have to do with them leaving their home quickly?
Nothing. The family didn't bother to eat dinner before they left. Okay.
You can, and so the reason that that's the correct answer, Mr. Hang, if you'll go to the reading, and if you scroll down, we can read that it says the front door was still open. I could see the supper ham on the table and the fire glowing in the fireplace. Tears welled up in my eyes. They didn't get to eat dinner. They left it there, right? That's how we knew that they left quickly. is because they left behind a perfectly good meal so that they would have time to escape.
Yep. They had to get out quick. Okay.
Quick, fast, and in a hurry.
Papa told the family they had to leave as soon as possible because, well, A is not correct. They had to catch up with the people from Gonzales. No. Houston and his men would soon be burning down the town. I don't think they were running from Houston.
No.
Since the title of the article is Santa Anna is coming. Hopefully you didn't choose that one. See, the weather was going to worsen soon. Where were they going to go for the weather?
Yeah.
They usually stayed in their houses or their dug cellars.
Yep.
D, Mexican soldiers would be there soon. Or could be there soon.
Mm-hmm. Well, we know Santa Anna is a general in the Mexican army. So we should.
The president of Mexico.
And he's the president of Mexico 11 times. But that's how we know. We just take that clue and we say Mexican soldiers could soon be there, right?
Yep.
We just need to take those clues and apply them to our answers.
Yeah. So, guys, notice we're using a lot of context from the reading that we already know. Santa Anna, Mexican president, leading an army. He was going around and burning everything because he was trying to put down the rebellion/revolution, right? So, with that mindset, some of these questions, some of these answers just don't make sense. Okay. So let's look at the sixth one.
Sure.
I don't know what number we're on. One similarity between Maddie and her mother is they both. Okay. So let's see. Made sure the family pets were not left behind. Did it mention family pets?
Not that I think it might have mentioned a cat at some point.
Maybe. Okay.
I think it mentioned a cat at some point, but
did they both gather pets, or was it just Maddie?
Just
right.
Just one of them.
So cried when they left the cabin. Were they both crying?
It talks about Maddie, but does not.
Yeah,
talk
it
about
doesn't
Mom.
talk about Mom. And helped Papa tie the wagon to the horse. Did they both do that?
No.
No, don't think so. But gathered things they might need to survive. They ran around the house and gathered everything they could.
Yep.
Both of them did. Okay. And all this takes is just going back in here, and you can just reread until you find that point. I would probably say it's right here. Mama started grabbing supplies from the cupboard.
Mm-hmm.
Papa hitched the wagons to the horses. We carried things out as quickly as we could. Anything we could carry went into the wagon. Okay, so it shows both of them doing something together, right?
Anything we could carry.
Yep. And then down here, the last thing I grabbed as we headed out the door was a quilt. So she's grabbing things too to survive, right? Okay. So we are back to a taste of victory for Texas. Make sure you pay attention to the article the answer is in. I've had several questions of, well, the answer is just not in the article. And they were looking in the wrong article. Don't do that to yourself. Okay. Paragraph 2 is mostly about, oh, well, that's easy. All we're doing there is just summarizing, if I can even pick the right one. Okay. So paragraph 2. Only Major General Sam Houston and his army were left to defend Texas and continue the fight for independence. Houston thought he could only win if he had time to better prepare his men. The men camped on the banks of the Brazos River to rest and train. Not everyone agreed with Houston's decision to take some time off from the battlefield. Temporary president of Texas, David G. Burnett, wrote a letter asking Houston to get back on the battlefield. The country expects you to fight, the letter said. Okay, so what can I take from this? Fannon's death at Goliad. Did it mention Fannon at all? No. David G. Burnett's decisions as president of Texas. We actually don't see a decision at all. He simply writes a letter. That's it. Houston's decision to rest his troops. Yeah, because even Burnett's letter is talking about quit resting your troops. So we're still talking about Houston arresting his troops. And the letters that were written by military leaders.
And for that one, you have to think, David G. Burnett does not even write the letter unless Houston rests the troops. So that's how we know it's mostly about Houston resting his troops, because without the troops resting, Burnett does not write the letter.
Yep. Okay, Treaties of Alaska. In paragraph 2, which words help the reader understand what treaties mean? Okay, this is a context clues question. You're going to use your context clues in the paragraph to answer what treaties mean, okay? So the correct answer is written agreements, as you can see, but let's see why. So treaties in...
Treaties of Alaska, yeah.
Okay. So second paragraph.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, these written agreements were known as the Treaties of Alaska. Okay. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and read the first sentence. Here's why. When you're using context clues, you need to read at least one sentence before you see the word and one sentence after the word. And in case you didn't see the word, we have treaties right here. Okay. So, and I'm not going to let that pull up because it just takes too long. So on May 14th, Santa Anna signed 2 peace treaties. There it is again. With Texas. President David G. Burnett. Good Lord, Mr. Herring, please read with fluency. These written agreements were known as the Treaties of Alaska. Okay. I think I'm getting the idea because I'm seeing 2 peace treaties. Okay, so peace means no longer fighting. With G. Burnett, that means the president and president are signing treaties. So the leaders are having to sign them. In the first treaty, Santa Anna promised to send all of his soldiers back to Mexico. He agreed that Mexico would never again fight against Texas, and he promised to return property that had been taken from Texas. Okay, all right. I think I get the meaning. Let's look at our answer choices. Written agreements, well, they were in writing. Made public? I mean, I guess, but that's kind of a effect of writing the treaty. Okay.
Not actually what the treaty means.
Yeah.
What the word treaty means.
No. Never again take up arms. That might be stated in the treaty, but that is not what the treaty means. That's not what treaties mean. And not attack. Again, might be in a treaty, but that's not what the definition of treaty is. Mm-hmm. It is written agreements. Okay, and oh goodness. Look at the information about the Treaty of Alaska. Okay. Secret. Santa Anna would help Texas gain freedom from Mexico. Ooh, oh wait, we're missing something.
Yep.
Oh. Which of these ideas belongs in the blank line? Well, let's see what they chose. The southern border of Texas would be at the Rio Grande. Okay, but how do I know this, right? Well,
again, we need to go back to the reading.
We need to go back to the reading.
And then we need to find the
second
treaty, the second one.
Right here. Oh, I just saw the word secret. It's right here in the sentence. The Texans also made a secret agreement with Santa Anna. In the second treaty, Santa Anna promised he would do everything in his power to help Texas gain independence from Mexico without any further treaties. They also agreed that the southern border of Texas would be on the Rio Grande. Mm-hmm. I don't even have to go through my other answers. That is the correct one.
Yep.
Okay. All it took was going back, finding where it talks about it, and getting that answer. And your open responses, let's see, question, which one? Santa Anna's coming. Okay. During the Battle of San Jacinto, what were some of the events that led to the Texans defeating the Mexican army?
Okay, so the first thing we have to do here is follow the instructions, right? Yep. So it says, for the following question, use this week's Study Weekly magazine because you must cite one source for your answer, which means tell us where you found it, right? So we know that this one is about the Battle of San Jacinto, okay? And we know that because of through the reading, we know that San Jacinto is one of the battles that the Texan army won. So maybe we need to look for some victory in the reading.
Mm-hmm.
to see what some of the events were that led to the Texan army defeating the Mexican army. We also have to understand what an event actually is.
Yeah. So what is an event? Well, have you ever been to a festival? Have you ever been to a graduation? Have you ever been to a baseball game? Those are events. They are things that happen. Well, in war, events happen too. There are battles, there are surrenders, there are victories, defeats, and there are actions that people do that can eventually lead to victory or defeat. And one of the events that happened, what was that event that happened that led to the victory of the Texans? Well, one of them, and we already had a question about it, was the bridge.
Mhm.
Houston took out the bridge. What else? Oh, we also saw a wrong answer. Say it. The surprise attack. Yeah. They snuck around and then they just went bam, right? So now what we don't want is you to go, oh, well, the sneak attacked and they burned a bridge. That's it. Nope. Because we need you to do something. After you answer the question in a full sentence and actually think out your answer, you also need to cite where you got it. So if you were in A Taste of Victory for the Texans and you found the answer in paragraph 3 and paragraph 5, then what you would do is you would cite, I found the answers, just like here. I found the answers for part of the question in page 1 in article Santa Anna's Coming. Or you can put paragraph 2 and 3, right? Mm-hmm. So we just want you to cite where you get it from. Okay? And then last question, we'd answer it the same. For the following question, use this week's Studies Weekly magazine because you must cite one source for your answer. For example, you found part of the answer on page 1 in the article Santa Anna's Coming.
And this one, in the actual question, it says, what is the main purpose of the Treaties of Velasco? And we know that there's an article titled Treaties of Velasco.
We had a question about it just 2 questions ago.
Yep.
So, what I would probably answer, what's the main purpose of the Treaty of Velasco? Use text-based evidence. I would probably say it's for Texas independence from Mexico, because not only once, but twice. Wait a minute. I think I can just use this.
Yeah.
So twice it talks about their independence. So we have Mexicans forced to go back to Mexico. So get out of Texas. Mexico would never again attack Texas. Okay. Mexico would return Texas property because it's Texas's. And Santa Anna's troops would be safely sent home to Mexico. Okay. Here's the second one. And this one really sums up like that Texas is going to be independent. Now, this one actually just kind of comes out and says it. Santa Anna would help Texas gain freedom from Mexico, and the southern border of Texas would be the Rio Grande. So they have borders now. They're no longer a part of Mexico. They have borders. Okay.
And here's the other thing. Whenever we ask you to answer a question like this, we don't expect you to put all 6 of those things that were included in the treaty. We just want the main purpose or the main idea of what the treaty was about.
We expect you to summarize the main point.
Yes, exactly. Summarize the main point.
So, guys, this is what we expect. These are expectations. This is why we're going through, walking through the questions. This is how we expect you to go at the test going forward, okay?
Yes. I think that's it.
Okay.
All right, guys.
All right, guys. Oh, there's a stop button now. Oh, okay.
Cool. All right. Hey, you guys know the deal. What is it?
Be safe. Be happy. Do your work. Get on our Zooms. Mind your parents. And high five.